Hey guys, in this video we will discuss the substring problem. So you're given a string and now you have to find the substrings. So if you're given a string ABC, the substrings are A, B, C, a empty string, and also the entire string ABC or ABAC or BC. Now to solve this problem, our first step would be to initialize a result string initialized to a empty string actually. So then what we can do is, this is our string, given string. We'll place our iterator on the first position. We'll name the iterator I, and it will point to the first position in the string. Now we'll have to make a decision. So that decision is whether we can include it or not. So let's say we include it, or in this case we will concatenate it to the result string. So if we concatenate the element which is pointed by I, then result will become A. If we don't, it will remain as an empty element. Now again we will take the same thing, but here we will increment our iterator. I will now point to B, and now we'll do the same, we'll have to take the same questions, that is whether we can include it or not. If we include it, we'll get AB. If we don't, we'll be left with A as such. And then for this, if we add empty string to B, we'll get B. Otherwise it will remain as empty string. Now again we'll increment our pointer, that is our iterator, and it will now point to C. Now the same question will ask whether we can include it or not. If we include it, we'll get ABC. If we don't, we'll have AB. If we include it, we'll get AC. If we don't, A. Likewise BC and B, and C and empty string. Now you can see that in the last level we have all the required elements that are to be found using this problem. Now as you can see, we see a structure here. So we have a pointer here, and then we take two decisions at each and every step. So we take two decisions here, we take two decisions here. So by now you could see the structure of this program. So yes, if you had guessed it already, this can be solved easily by recursion technique. So let's write a code for this. I'm going to write it in C++ language. So what we can do is, we'll have to ask this question: what is our function going to return? We're not going to return any function, so it's void, and we'll name the function as substring. And let's say the parameters are string S and string result, and initially we need an iterator point, which is I, and the length of the string N. So these are the parameters that we will require. So in any recursive, when we write the recursive code, we need a base case. So base case says when we can terminate this particular program. So in this particular program, if the iterator reaches the end of the string, that is after finishing A, B, C, if it reaches the end, then we can quit. So if I is equal to N, then we can just print the string, print our result, and maybe return. So we're not returning anything, but we are using this keyword so that in the memory our stack pointer is released. Then we'll add some brackets here since it involves two lines of code. Now here's the important point where we are going to call the function again recursively, but notice that I'm going to change the parameters for this. The parameters are, the string is going to be passed as such, S, but the result is going to be concatenated with the string element which is pointed by my iterator I, and then I is incremented and the size remains as such. So this case is talks about when we take a decision that we will include this particular character pointed by our iterator. But if we take the other way around, which is not to include it, Then we can call the function, same function, but we will not concatenate with any string, leave it as such, just increment our pointer and the size remains as such. That's all. We have written a code. So just to initialize, maybe we'll have to call int main and call this function substring with the string abc, or in your case anything, and result should be initialized to empty. I for us is 0, n is, in our case, if we take abc, it's 3. So I hope you understood the problem, and if you have any doubts you can post it in our comments. So with this we complete this video.